Happy Friday, everyone. It's almost Christmas time. So I'm going to be that guy. It's like 26 or 25 days to go and the year's done, pretty much. I cannot believe it. It's been mental. I've already been down here in the South Coast for 6 months. So
yeah, crazy.
Time is flying, but it is time for a progress update this week. So I'm going to jump in quickly and just give us a little run through of what we did in the features front in Clipflow. So this week we worked mainly on project analytics. So we've brought the analytics from YouTube for a single project into the actual Clipflow project now. So you can see a nice graph of your views over time plus key statistics. So that's all live now, which is really cool, and pulling in data. So I'll keep monitoring that and make sure it's doing its thing. We've implemented tracking links, which I think we did a couple of weeks ago, but we've just done some improvements. We've shortened the link now for the default, which is nice, so it doesn't take as much space. And we've also added the ability to use custom domains. So you can use your own domain, which is really good for if you're a YouTuber and just to build trust of a link. Like if someone follows me, for instance, using a link that says ken.link / something is way more trustworthy than some random code. So just even that I think is going to be quite cool. And then that obviously tracks all the clicks through as well. We've done some updates to the filters in the project screens. So now we've made them much clearer, and we've added them to the Kanban board as well. So you can now actually work through and filter the Kanban, which is quite powerful. And that came straight from a user request. And they actually said, they thought that the projects list was going to be their home, but they actually really like the Kanban view and just requested the filters there. So we added that. And then we also added a new search, like a quick filter search to the right, which updates on the fly. So that's really nice as well. And that's all the updates we've done this week. And moving into next week, we're starting to do some workflow kind of tools so that you can see how your team, like what their load is, their workload. So that's a really cool feature as well. That's coming up soon. How'd you go with what did you work on in terms of the app this week, Dazza?
Yeah, I worked on brand and sponsorship and what we want to do with that. So there's a lot of learning to be done there. Unfortunately, not having any real domain knowledge in it, having to listen to all of the latest YouTube experts and also talk to people. So we obviously discussed inviting specifically brand managers to talk about what we want it to look like. But it's getting to a really good spot where I think like it just feels right. And I think it's going to work, but we'll just obviously do some tweaks and start figuring out how to build that.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to do that. It's a big chunk of work, but I think it's going to deliver a lot of value. There are a lot of platforms out there that kind of try to connect creators and brands, but I think like using, that can neglect the agency or the brand manager they work with, which is obviously a big component, I think, as well, is people can say like, oh, well, let them do it themselves. But forgetting that when you get bigger, you want to be creating content. You don't want to be just spending all your time like chasing leads, right? Like, because following and making deals is actually a very time-consuming process. It's not as simple as just clicking, let's take that and go. So I think, there's definitely a play here, or there's space for those kind of people. I think they're very important that manage those deals for you. As long as there's transparency and you can see exactly what's happening, I think it's really cool. And yeah, we want to build the tools that make it easy for those people to do the job, as well as the creative. They want to do it, when you're small and you got time and, you can do that. But we think creators should create. That's what they should be doing. They should be making content. So keen to see where that goes.
I think despite the fact that it's dominated by agencies, if it was any other role, it would be like a role that you hire for. You hire an editor or you get an agency editor. It's the same thing. It's just probably not worth it for many people to hire an actual brand manager for themselves. So it falls to agency more often.
Yeah, I think the model's quite clean, like how most of them work. It's just like you only pay for what you get given. Like there's no risk. You're not paying like a holding or a base fee. Whereas if you're employing yourself, you're now forking out, because a salesperson, really, it's a gun salesman. So you're going to be spending big bucks and then the commission rate on top of that to, incentivize them to do as many as possible. So yeah, I think, for a fixed rate, like as long as the rate's reasonable, it's money you're never going to have. They're just going to bring it in and you're going to just say yes. So the more that you can just make sure every video is getting paid, you're having a great time. And that kind of, I guess that leads us also into, something else that we saw was making sure that you focus on creating as a creator, because you can go down to making your own product or something, and it's very distracting. It takes you away from doing what you're supposed to be doing and diverts all your attention in another place. And if you're not, if you don't have the connections or the skills or someone to help you do that, it can be a big time drain. And we've seen this, it's on the internet. Kevin from Epic Gardening just actually did a full thread on this, all the kind of the creator economy. Very interesting read as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Anything else you wanted to add before we go, Daryl?
It's probably along the same lines, but we just had that meeting with the YouTuber in the UK. Similar thing. It's easy to get distracted doing a bunch of other stuff, and luckily for him, he still had the primary goal, which was grow the channel to a certain subscriber count. So I don't think he was letting it get in his way too much, and I think it's fine to explore those other options of doing other things, as long as you just don't lose sight of what's really important, which is grow the channel, if that's what you're after.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys on the next one.